Dear friends, this week we'll be reading the double portion of Matot and Massei, and we actually finished the fourth book of the Torah, the book of Bamidbar, Numbers, and in Shul we'll all shout out together, Chazak, Chazak, v'nis chazek, be strong and be strengthened. Very fascinating things that we find throughout the portion, but one of the interesting episodes is how 2 of the 12 tribes came over to Moses, and they said, Moshe, we don't want to cross over the Jordan to the western side and take a part in the land of Israel. We like where we are here. We've conquered a lot of the land on this side of the Jordan, and even though it wasn't promised that that's the final destination at this point, we want to stay here. We have a lot of cattle. It's great grazing land for cattle, and also we'll make sure our kids are taken care of here. And initially Moshe was very upset at them, thinking that this is a repeat of what happened 40 years earlier when the spies who were sent to Israel to come back with a great report about Israel to the Jewish people and get them excited about entering Israel, ended up cooling off the Jews to the prospect of conquering Israel. And because of that sin, the Jews stayed in the desert for 40 years. And Moshe's thinking, oi, is this happening again? But quickly, the 2 tribes tell Moshe, no, we're not afraid of going into Israel. We will actually help you lead the battle into Israel. We will leave our children and our cattle here, and we will go and not only join the forces to conquer Israel, but we will lead the forces to conquer Israel. And we will stay there until they actually not only win, but conquer the land, but also settle into the land. We're interested in seeing Israel happen. But for us, we feel it's better on this side. We have more place for our many cattle to graze. And what's interesting is, within this conversation, we see 2 interesting things. Number one, Moshe corrected them. When they were talking about why they wanted to stay, they said, oh, our cattle. So Moshe says, why is it that you worry about your cattle before you worry about your children? Why don't you tell me first, for my children's concern, this is best. And then you say also, my cattle, my assets. So Moshe corrected them, as a Jewish person, a person with values, your possessions can never be more important than your children. The greatest value we have are our children. Of all the things we amass in our lifetime, of all the investments we make, nothing is more important than our children. The gift God gives every one of us, children. This is the greatest investment that we have. And this is where we have to put most of our strength. And that is what has to lead us in life. What is best for my children? To be good Jews with the right values and live life for the purpose that we were put here for. That is paramount. Then you worry about, once I take care of that, how do I make a living? What's the best way of gaining more possessions and being successful? And Moshe made sure that they got this message well. And alongside with this message, we find there was beauty about these 2 tribes, that they were very forward-thinking. On the other hand, they were very forward-thinking. Why were they forward-thinking? They knew that eventually the purpose of Israel was to spread out the message of Israel outside of Israel. The message of living a life with meaning and purpose to spread out all over the world. It should spread, Israel should spread, like it will happen when Mashiach will come, it will spread. And they wanted to precipitate that now and say, why do all Jews have to settle in Israel? Let's begin now already transforming the world around us. The other places which were already settled and they're not Israel yet, we'll make it Israel. We will make it holy. We will transform that place and show the Gentiles and everyone around that this is the way a person should live. And this is the message for our lives. We must remember our children are our greatest investment. Put everything into your children. That should be the first thing you think about every time you make a decision in your life, an important decision. And the second thing we learn is we have to be forward thinking. Don't only get involved in the obvious, but get involved in the things that God told us to get involved in, even though we don't see how it will unfold, because when you get involved, it will unfold. And it will happen according to the way God had told us and had planned. So I wish you all lots of success in worrying about your children and investing in them fully, more and more of the Jewish values and ways, and as well to keep being forward thinking. And may Hashem give you lots of blessings and success in it. God bless all of you. God loves you all, especially as we're bringing in the new month of Av. May it be transformed to holy days and the rebuilding of the temple. And we love you all. Shabbat Shalom. Candlelighting time in Montreal, 8:03 p.m.